Modric will be better after retirement. Journalist criticizes Real Madrid's gem. Croatian star Luka Modric continues to maintain his place in Real Madrid's starting lineup, as he prepares to lead the team in the upcoming phase of the season. Despite his advancing age, the Croatian player still achieves impressive numbers, becoming the oldest player this season to score and regularly participate with the team, reflecting his consistency in delivering high performance. Currently, negotiations are underway to extend Modric's contract for another season, as he approaches his 40th birthday in September. It seems that Real Madrid is open to the idea of keeping him, though with a potential pay cut, especially as he has received tempting offers from Saudi and American league clubs. As his career nears its end, Real Madrid fans are wondering who will replace him in midfield. Among the potential candidates is the young Turkish player Arda Güler, who joined from Fenerbahce in July 2023. However, his recurring injuries have reduced his chances of getting enough playing time, and coach Carlo Ancelotti has appeared hesitant to rely on him to gain the required experience. In the latest developments, Güler sparked controversy during Real Madrid's 2-1 victory over Villarreal in La Liga, after a tense situation with French star Kylian Mbappé. Journalist criticizes Arda Güler's performance with Real Madrid. According to Cadena SER Radio, Mbappé expressed his frustration with Güler's decision to shoot instead of passing the ball to him in one of the attacks, leading to widespread criticism of the Turkish player's performance and his reaction after the match. In this context, sports journalist and commentator Antonio Romero ruled out the possibility that Güler could be Modric's successor in Real Madrid's midfield, confirming that the 20-year-old has yet to prove his ability to deliver the required performance. Romero sarcastically said in his statements to Spanish radio, "This player has been misleading from the beginning. A lot of dazzling highlights and intense training, but he doesn't deliver the same performance in official matches." Real Madrid prepares to sign Arsenal's defensive rock. Real Madrid is looking to sign young French defender William Saliba from Arsenal to strengthen the team's defensive capabilities. Real Madrid's need for a new defender has become more apparent due to a lack of qualified options in this position, forcing coach Carlo Ancelotti to rely on players like Aurelien Tchouameni in positions outside their natural roles to fill the gap. Real Madrid aims to finalize Saliba deal. According to a report by Fichajes Spanish newspaper, Real Madrid's management knows that their most important investment in the upcoming summer transfer window must be in defense. The report also mentioned that the name catching Real Madrid's attention is French defender William Saliba, who has been delivering impressive performances in the English Premier League with Arsenal. Arsenal will not be lenient in negotiations to sell Saliba, and the English club's management will do everything possible to keep him. The Spanish newspaper stressed that Real Madrid will make a serious attempt in the summer, and the club's management in Madrid will begin negotiations with their counterparts in London to finalize the deal. Saliba, who is 23 years old, plays as a central defender, and his contract with Arsenal runs until June 2027. Urgent decision from the president of the Spanish Referees Committee in favor of Real Madrid. In a surprising comment, Luis Medina Cantalejo, the president of the Spanish Referees Committee, made statements regarding the controversial refereeing decision in the Villarreal versus Real Madrid match. The decision not to award a penalty to Real Madrid had sparked widespread debate among fans and analysts. Medina Cantalejo explained that the referee's decision not to penalize the handball was based on a literal interpretation of the laws. However, he also hinted that the decision was reviewable and that a different decision could have been made, considering the circumstances and the context of the situation. Medina Cantalejo: "The referee's decision was based on the laws, but the head of the referees committee discussed the details of the situation, stating, 'The law stipulates that when a player's arm is on the ground to support the body during a fall, a handball is not considered an offense. This is the basis on which the referee and the VAR referees made their decision. However, there is another factor to consider: the player's intention and the impact of the handball on the flow of the game. There is a big difference between a player falling naturally and a player deliberately throwing himself to prevent the ball from passing.'" Medina Cantalejo added that such situations often generate controversy because they fall into a gray area, between what the law considers a natural position for the arm and an intentional attempt to block the ball. He emphasized that similar incidents this season were dealt with differently, where referees awarded penalties even when there wasn't a clear intent, due to the significant impact of the handball on the flow of play. He continued, "When we closely examine the footage, we see that the player was not in a typical fall position. He strategically threw himself to close the space. This is not a natural movement for a player trying to avoid a fall. It seems like a deliberate attempt to stop the ball from crossing. The question arises, should the VAR have intervened to review the situation? I believe the answer is yes. The role of VAR in controversial situations. Medina. Cantalejo's criticism was not only directed at the main referee but also at the VAR officials, pointing out that they could have advised the referee to review the footage himself. He said, VAR is not just for correcting obvious mistakes. It is also there to help the referee in situations that are open to interpretation. When there is a situation of such importance, in a match of this sensitivity, it is always better to have the main referee review the footage. In this case, that did not happen, and I believe that is what increased the controversy surrounding the decision." He added, "There is a fundamental rule in refereeing which states that any handball that directly affects the flow of play should undergo a thorough review. Did this handball stop a dangerous pass inside the penalty area? The answer is yes. So why didn't VAR intervene? This raises questions about the consistency of VAR usage. The head of the referees committee also clarified that in the coming weeks, the committee will discuss this situation in detail to review the procedures followed in such cases. What we want to avoid is conflicting decisions in similar situations. If a certain decision is made in today's match, we need to ensure the same decision is made in tomorrow's match. The public wants to see consistent and fair decisions, and that is what we are working towards." The debate over law interpretation. One of the key points of debate raised by Medina Cantalejo was the literal versus practical interpretation of the law. He said, "It is true that current laws protect players in situations where the hand is on the ground, but we need to ask, was this fall natural? Was the player's arm in that position just to maintain balance, or was it part of a deliberate defensive maneuver? These are questions that should have been raised during the review of the situation." He also pointed out that some referees might interpret the situation differently if they watched it from multiple angles, explaining that some decisions cannot be black or white, but require deeper analysis. This is why we have VAR and why we have a referees committee to discuss such situations after matches. We need to ensure that the referee has all the tools necessary to make the correct decision on the field, not just rely on a rigid interpretation of the law. Conclusion. Medina. Cantalejo's statements hinted that the decision could have been different, even if the referee followed the letter of the law. However, he also emphasized the need to review how laws are applied to ensure greater clarity and consistency. Ultimately, this situation will remain a topic of lengthy debate among fans and analysts and could serve as a starting point for broader refereeing reviews in La Liga in the coming period. Ancelotti makes his final decision regarding the change of the Joker's position. Spanish media reports have revealed the final decision of Italian coach Carlo Ancelotti, the head coach of Real Madrid, regarding the change in the position of midfielder Federico Valverde for the next season. Federico Valverde, the Real Madrid star, continues to confirm his importance in the team's lineup, as he has a clear impact on the field regardless of the position he occupies. Although he has been a key figure in the midfield for a long time, the lack of options in the right-back position has led coach Carlo Ancelotti to utilize him in that position on several occasions recently. Valverde's last match as a midfielder, before the recent Villarreal game, was over a month ago, reflecting the tactical change Ancelotti made to address the defensive shortage. A tactical dilemma for Ancelotti. According to the newspaper AS, Valverde's ability to play both in midfield and defense puts Ancelotti in a real dilemma when planning for the upcoming season. Although the Uruguayan player has proven to be a reliable defender, using him in the defensive line leaves a gap in midfield that is difficult to replace. On the other hand, relying on him in midfield leaves a gap in defense, especially with Lucas Vazquez's inconsistent performances at right back. However, the Italian coach has been clear about Valverde's future, confirming that he will rely on him as a right back in important matches, but he is primarily a midfielder and will remain so for most of the time. Valverde's future at Real Madrid. In the long run, Real Madrid believes that Valverde should remain in midfield, and he is expected to return to his natural position once Dani Carvajal is fully recovered or a new right back is signed. Despite the tactical challenges he faces, Valverde delivered an outstanding performance during the Villarreal match at La Ceramica, where he played the full 90 minutes, achieved an 83% passing accuracy, took one shot on goal, and won all 5 of his ground duels, highlighting his great value in the team's lineup. Is Vinicius Jr. leaving Real Madrid? The club sets a sale condition. The French website Tribuna revealed on Sunday that Real Madrid may be open to selling their Brazilian forward Vinicius Jr. if they receive an attractive offer. One of the Saudi clubs has reportedly contacted the Royal Club again after Real Madrid rejected an offer of €300 million during the last winter transfer window. Although Real Madrid had previously rejected offers to sell Vinicius, the situation may change if the player does not improve his performance in the upcoming matches. His recent performances have raised some questions within the team's dressing room, prompting the coaching staff to monitor him closely. The report also added that Vinicius has been involved in several off-field issues, which has raised concerns within the Real Madrid management, with some believing that the player may have lost focus on football. While no official decision has been made regarding his future yet, it seems that the Royal Club may be more open to selling the player if they receive a new offer of €300 million.